Hey guys, I didn't have time this week to work on the sword too much, so it is still sitting right there. I've just been busy doing some other things that pay me money, and while I was out at an antique shop though, I did find this. I did find this leg vise. As you can see though, it doesn't have a leg. There's a couple other problems with it, like for one, the handle's stuck in place and the screw doesn't turn. Besides that, it's in good condition. As you can see, the handle's pretty damn straight, which is a good sign that it wasn't abused during its life. The jaws are both in pretty good shape. This is a 6-inch leg vise. It seems that at one point someone welded a leg on. Also welded this plate on to stop the spring from slipping. So what I'm going to do today is get this cleaned up as much as I can, get the rust off, try and get everything working, probably by disassembling it. Some grind welds might have to be cut because I'm looking at it and it looks like they welded the key in place even though it's supposed to come out. Who knows? And then the next time when I got time to go out, I'm going to buy some stuff to make a leg for it because it looks like it just threads into the bottom. So I've got an idea for that, but we'll see how it actually goes. So let's get this thing cleaned up. So not only are they welded to this keeper, they welded them to each other on both sides. And since I don't want to damage the vise, like I've already nicked it there, I'm gonna use my tiny little Dremel tool and see if I can get it off. Whoever owned it really just didn't care for it the way it should be and just was like, oh, instead of putting the key in properly, I'll just weld it. Instead of fixing the leg, I'll just weld it. So if you don't know how this key works, I'll show you. The back of the vise leg is like this, and it has this piece on it, which then attaches to a table or whatever, and then the key goes through like that. So those two pieces from the top, one of them looks like this, and one of them is just like a wedge, sort of like that. And then the vise leg sits here. So what happens is you drive this out this way, and then this can come out that way and sort of slip out like that. Or to tighten it, you drive it in this way and then it sandwiches itself in and it's tight. Or if you're this guy, you just weld it on and then it stays. So yeah, you also use this to adjust the height you want your vise at, because you can bring this lower down and then your vise will be lower or higher. So let's see if I can get this done. 2 hours later, and all I've got is a spicy meatball. I'm gonna need something that's sort of spray or something that can 30, 40, 50, 70 years of corrosion. I know of one thing, but last time I knew they made it was about 30 years ago, so I'm gonna see what I can do. I also uncovered some new stamps. JB. Don't know what it means. I'm gonna fart around and figure something out here. Next time you see this vise, hopefully it is moving. Liquid wrench, by the recommendation of a friend's Opa, as it is magic. And I'm going in through this port, which I started cleaning a little bit, which is where the female threads lie for where the male threads screw. Going in there, trying to clean it out. Cleaned it out a bit yesterday, got some stuff out, but I realized, wow, there's a lot more in there. That's the pile of gunk that's come out so far. So I'm starting to think that the threads are just completely mashed up with rust and crap. So I'm gonna try keep cleaning all this out Hopefully I'll get this screw to turn. Still no luck moving the handle or removing the bolt though. So I'll update you when something interesting happens. Here's my newest update. I'm going to try and let the liquid wrench do some work in these threads. And in the meantime, I've decided I'm going to cut the key off on both sides like that to hopefully try and get that free. Then I'll have to remake them out of some material I have here. Worst case scenario, I'd have to cut the whole shackle off, which is kind of poopy. But I did some research on this anvil, and it seems that JB is John Brooks, and these were made in the mid to late 20th century. So, post-industrial revolution, I don't feel too horrified having to cut into it. I don't like doing that to tools or anything really when it can be avoided. But since it's newer, I don't mind as much. And it seems the person who owned this before me didn't mind messing with it at all. Whoever owned this reminds me of like Sid from Toy Story. But they just got a welder and were like, oh, I'm just gonna weld this on. Let me try welding this together. And let's get spatter all over it and put random welds on it. So let's see how this goes, and we'll see if the key comes out. Well, I've done something that I didn't want to have to do. That was to cut the shackle. So I'm hoping that I can just weld it up and it'll work. Shouldn't be a problem. If not, I can make a new shackle. It's not too difficult of a shape or anything. Just look at all this corrosion just sitting in there. All of that's why it's so stuck. You can't just imagine what's inside of this. I wanted to get this done on my free time, which I don't have too much of, but I think I'm going to have to, even though I've been soaking it around 4 or 5 days every day, spraying it down with WD-40 or vinegar, or now the liquid wrench. It's just not enough, I think, and I'm going to have to just soak this thing in vinegar and just let it sit for a few days and just get everything off from inside. So I'm gonna try and figure out how to do that, and I'll show you guys the result. This is where I'm at now. I ground down a piece of an old bandsaw blade to a little pick, and I am picking away at all the rust in this meatball. Is this doing anything? Yes. Not much. Will this work? I don't know. Does it make me feel like I'm doing something? Yes. Is that all that matters? Yes. So I'll come back when something interesting happens. Remember, it's only stupid if it doesn't work. It happened. I wasn't recording, but trying to punch out any leftover rust. Yes. As you can tell from my voice, this excites me greatly. So if you're anything like me, which for your sake I hope you're not, you might be asking yourself, wow, that was a great success. Why didn't you start with that? I'm asking myself the same question because it was one of the first things I thought of. Right after I tried heating it with the little torch, I was like, wow, this isn't going to go anywhere. I should just put it in my forge. Put the meatball in my forge and call it a day. And the reason I didn't, and I think anyone else who's restored tools or tried to fix something will agree with of why you don't, or why my train of thought went the way it did, is you always try and do the least extreme thing in ascending order. You try to go from least extreme to most extreme, trial and error or tests or whatever, because you think, well, I can just try picking away at it and that might work. And if I go straight to putting in the forge, I'll feel stupid if I could have just beep and finished it. I feel more stupid having picked at it for half an hour and futzed with it all that time and wasted all that time essentially. But you always have a grand vision of every idea you think of like, oh, I'll try this, and then like I'll try soaking it in vinegar. I have the idea in my head of as soon as I soak it in the vinegar, I'm going to pull it out and go bing bang boom, and it's going to pop right out. That doesn't happen, obviously. Sometimes it does. Like I've watched a lot of other Vise restoration videos on YouTube, and they make it look so easy. Vise like this, oh, it won't move. Psst, 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 psst. Oh, now it moves. You know, it's not always that easy. Sometimes it is. This vise I got, it was pretty much mint. As I just cleaned it up. It had some surface rust, cleaned it up, and just put it back together, gave it a little paint job that's worn off, but it was easy. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is I should have put it in the forge first, and clearly it wasn't a stupid idea because it worked. And I'm really happy that it did work. And the next thing is the screw, which, again, I've tried a lot of things. Maybe I should just try sticking that in the forge and making it work. But threads are a little harder to deal with. As you can see, the threads on this have been treated.
Wait, we're coming too.
Trying that same technique on the threads this time. Fingers crossed. Not what I wanted, but the bung, I don't know what this is called on a vise, but the bung hole cap came out. And I was pretty certain that this was a separate piece, but now it's confirmed since it doesn't look broken. So even if this doesn't work through heat, at least this gives me an access port to see what the hell I'm doing in the threads there. It's moving. I've got about quarter turn of movement. I am very happy. Now I'm just gonna wiggle it for a while, and I'll come back when it's not wiggling anymore and it moves. Holy crap. Yes. Yes. The threads are not damaged. It's not cross-threaded like I thought. It's just filled with gunk. That's awesome. Fuck yeah. Just gonna squirt this some WD in here because I got another project I gotta work on right now. But I'm in the home stretch. I don't know which part of that really worked. Was it the heat? Was it the cleaning it out? Was it all of the above? Was it the liquid wrench? Was it the vinegar? So what I've had it doing for the last 3 days was I had it sitting on its back, as you saw, and was spraying liquid wrench in there every day, twice a day maybe, and just letting it soak for 3 days. And I was coming out here to start up on another project, another wood rack, and I was like, I'll just play with it, and it moved. I almost lost my mind because I was so happy. So my next steps here, I'm gonna wire wheel all of this off, wire wheel all the meatball and everything off, get it down to bare metal, and then I gotta find a nut for that bolt and a bolt for this hole, make the leg, and paint it. Now I think I'm gonna either paint it the same color as this vise, this bright blue color, and then do white on the letters, or paint it dark green. We'll see. So all of that will happen pretty quick now, I think. Here are all my components laid out. nicely shiny. I've greased them up with a bit of WD for now. And stay tuned till next time when I do the rebuild. Thank you for watching.